How to ask for a raise from your boss, the ultimate guide to negotiate the salary you deserve. How to ask for a raise. Have you ever found yourself in a similar situation? You're working very hard and don't know what to do to get a raise. You're doing an excellent job, even beyond expectations and responsibilities assigned to you, and even beyond your job description. However, you feel underpaid and undervalued. Therefore, you believe you should ask your manager for a raise to compensate for this situation. If you enjoyed the video you just watched, we invite you to subscribe to our channel and support us with a donation. Thanks to your help, we will be able to continue producing high-quality content and constantly improving our channel. You can do it here below, through the appropriate buttons, subscribe, and thanks. However, asking for a raise is something that makes many employees uncomfortable, but it shouldn't be. Your employer has dedicated resources to train you and has entrusted you with important tasks that are vital to the success of the organization. Therefore, you'll be surprised at how willing valued employees are to listen to you when you ask for a raise. Hiring, training, and integrating new people into the organizational culture takes time and resources. For this reason, employers are often willing to listen to employees' salary requests. In other words, if done correctly, this can be one of the most important levers. Even the statistics are in favor of employees taking the important step of asking for a raise. According to a survey by PayScale, a data and compensation management software company, employees who earn more than $150,000 a year have a 70% higher chance of saying they'll get exactly what they want. In today's video, we propose a practical guide to help you get your raise. But first, if you think you deserve a raise, click the like button on our website. Also, you are our subscribers. If you're not, what are you waiting for? Make sure you don't miss any of our videos by clicking the subscription button and the bell icon. Let's begin. First, summarize why you think you deserve a raise. Being confident in the value of your skills, work, and results is the first step towards a raise. If you can't prove that you deserve more than the salary you're currently receiving, you won't be able to convince yourself or your boss. Don't complain about your salary without taking the necessary steps to increase it. You need to review the job description for the position you're applying for and identify any unmentioned responsibilities or special tasks not listed in the job description. If you can demonstrate that your contribution is greater than what is expected from someone in that position and that your contribution is beneficial to the company, you have a good reason to get a raise. Record keeping is a very important factor. Employers are primarily interested in the effective functioning and growth of the organization. Your long list of achievements is not their priority. Therefore, to be able to discuss a raise productively, you need to document your efforts beyond your duties and how these efforts have helped the organization grow. 2. Determine the value of your skills. Don't enter a salary negotiation without a clear idea of your worth. You need to research your industry and understand what other employees working in similar positions and roles are earning. Contact professional associations and recruitment agencies or consult placement agencies to see what salaries other employers are offering. Use online tools like Glassdoor and Know Your Worth to find out. You can also contact other organizations to find out what they offer. Another approach is to look inward. If you think your colleagues are earning more than you in terms of base salary and salary, think of smart ways to convince them to reveal their earnings. After doing all this, you should have a clear idea of your worth and have some of the tools you need to tackle important salary increase discussions. 3. Set realistic figures when conducting your research. Always keep in mind that similar roles and responsibilities do not necessarily lead to similar earnings. Many factors influence a company's pay levels. The industry structure, the importance of certain roles in different companies, bonus packages for specific jobs, and regional income differences can explain why someone in a similar role in a company earns much more than you. This doesn't mean you shouldn't ask for a raise. It means you should compare yourself to the average salary of other similar employees in your industry or company. You need to be reasonable. Don't aim for a figure that's too low or avoid a figure that's too high. To get the salary you want, you should ask for a salary that's 15% higher than what you think you'll get. This is because the employer will negotiate with you, and the figure you request will likely be lowered. If you ask for a higher figure and it's lowered, it will probably fall within the range you initially hoped for. You need to be reasonable. If you ask your employer to double your salary or ask for a fictitious raise, you might offend your employer and lose your job. 4. Ask for a raise if you believe you should be paid more. The first step is to identify and establish a reasonable compensation that you believe you should be receiving. The next step is to gather the necessary evidence to convince your boss that you deserve a raise. You should then examine past projects and the work you do daily for your employer. Collect data that demonstrates the quality of your performance and how it exceeds the scope of your duty. List your qualifications and achievements and gather evidence that shows how employees with similar skills are paid and documented. Also, include any awards or recognitions received during your loyal service to the employer. Compile all this into a logical presentation and use it to demonstrate to the employer why you need greater compensation. 5. Be prepared to negotiate. It's unlikely that your boss will accept the amount you offer. You need to be prepared to present your case confidently and clearly. Preparing for a negotiation is much easier if you've done your homework by following the steps outlined above. Additionally, if you haven't watched our video on how to negotiate yet, I recommend you do. 6. Have a backup plan in case of refusal. Just because you're entitled to a raise doesn't mean your boss will see it the same way. Moreover, current budget constraints might make it difficult for your employer to meet your salary requests. This means you need to have an alternative plan. What would you do if your boss admitted they couldn't give you a raise right now, even though you truly deserve it? What would you do? If a raise is currently out of the question, this is a good opportunity to implement a backup plan. However, if your manager is not convinced that you deserve a raise and there's no clear answer on when you might get one, you should consider looking for another job. If you have the resume and qualifications to meet the salary demands, it's easy to get a higher salary elsewhere if you're the new talent the employer desperately needs. 7. Know when to ask for a raise. Timing is very important if you want to get everything you want in life. Your company's circumstances should dictate when to ask for a raise. If your organization is going through a period of declining revenues and funds and employees are being laid off to cut costs, it's not a good time to ask for a raise. The increased workload may be due to staff reduction. If your salary remains unchanged, it's better to wait for the organization to resolve the issue before asking for a raise. However, when things are going well and the organization's budget plan shows a willingness to invest in employee growth and development, it's a good time to ask for a raise. To set a date to discuss a raise with your manager, you can choose an event such as after successfully completing an important project that you led and brought to a high standard. This might be the right time to ask for a raise. During the annual performance review, especially if you know you've made a significant contribution to the organization's development over the year. When your boss is in a good mood, this is subjective, but you need to know your boss well enough to know when they're in a good mood. 8. Plan a relaxed meeting with your boss. Avoid ambushing your boss by carelessly asking for a raise. Your supervisor should be aware that the scheduled meeting is to discuss your salary and should happen at a time when they can relax and listen to your request. That's why we said timing is important. If your revenues or funds are increasing, your boss will want to talk about more money. Also, make sure you're prepared for the presentation and ready to negotiate. Bring a portfolio of documents that you'll use to explain your situation. Prepare with ideas about your role as employees of the organization and a list of future projects. 9. Ask your manager questions. Start the conversation with your manager positively and make them understand that you enjoy working for them. Summarize how you've developed in your role and state why you believe your responsibilities and qualifications deserve better compensation. When explaining the discrepancy between the work you applied for and what the organization is constantly seeking, you need to demonstrate a solid understanding of your role in the organization. You need to show confidence in your abilities and speak with an appropriate tone. You should also be specific when answering questions about your salary expectations. Hesitation weakens your position during negotiations. Show the value of your skills in the job market and tell your employer when the new salary will be applied. Your boss will likely negotiate with you, so use the plan you developed in the preparatory stages of the negotiation process to agree on a figure that's satisfactory to both parties. Even if your boss asks for time to think, don't lose hope and wait patiently. Additionally, if you get an immediate positive response, express your gratitude and appreciation. 10. Respond positively if your request is rejected. If your request for a raise is rejected for budget reasons and you're happy to continue working until the money is found, this is a good time to implement your emergency plan. But if your boss is not convinced that you deserve a raise and there's no clear answer on when you might get one, you should consider looking for another job. If you have the resume and qualifications necessary to meet the salary demands, it's easy to get a higher salary elsewhere if you're the new talent the employer desperately needs. But feel free to leave a comment so that we can improve the content. Your like would be the cherry on top, and click subscribe to stay informed about upcoming publications.